Previously, it was part of the executive report. So now that it's a separate report, we need more depth in understanding the on-source revenue performance and practices in the county government. I think this is something that even when we are doing our implementation follow-up, we will also be asking you questions around the controls, the security that the system has. And we need to have the assurance that even things like downtime do not affect it, and that there are no manual overrides that allow people to continue picking cash rather than doing it in an automated way. So I think the last thing here, which is a direct question to the governor, is the Kamti ATC facility. The Auditor General says it is providing services, but it is not reporting the revenue. Who is eating the money from Kamti ATC? That is the last question on the receipt of revenue. This should be a straight one. I've read your response, but it has not addressed the issue of the money coming from catering, accommodation, and conference facilities at Kamti has not been accounted for. Where is the money collected at Kamti going?
Is that the, I think the question. Sorry.
The thrust of the question is Kamti ATC had not reported any revenue from catering, accommodation, and conference facilities in the previous and current year of audit. That is the issue. Where is the money collected at Kamti going?
The response is the facility has been accredited as a TVET training institute, whereby the institution is now offering training in the facility. Further, the conference facility is now functional and therefore favorable for hosting meetings and workshops. The institution, having been fully established as a fund, now has a board of directors in place who are mandated to effectively oversee the management of the institution.
Now, the English there has been and is now and is now and is now. What about the period when all these had not happened? Where was the money going? Because what you have given us is the corrective measures. What about the money that was collected and not reported?
You have money that you collected. They are not operational. What do you want to answer? Let me request the CC to respond to that question because they are more familiar with it.
Yeah, please quickly. We have bigger issues to deal with.
Thank you, Chair. The question here is underutilization because the facility, the Kamti institution had those facilities, yet they are not operationalizing them or they are not using them towards meaningful gain of revenue. And the explanation is during this year of audit, that facility was dormant because it didn't have a board in place, which now we have fully...
the auditor has told us that it was operational. That is the auditor who came to the ground. So don't confuse us. We have not come to the ground. The auditor, was Kamti ATC operational at the time of your audit? Auditor?
Operational?
Yes.
It was?
It was operational.
Were catering services being offered?
No, no, Chair.
Was accommodation being offered? Were conference facilities being offered?
The operationalizing of Kamti, what I mean is it was operational for agricultural extension, like giving the trainings and the extension services.
Does Kamti have catering facilities?
It does.
Does it have accommodation services for 25 people?
Yes, it does.
Does it have a conference facility of 50?
Yes.
Were these services being offered during the period under review?
They didn't offer any services. They didn't attract any business to use those facilities as at that time.
Auditor General?
That is the explanation we got because at the time of audit in October 2024, the facility was inoperational. But during the year under review, there were no evidence of any corrections emanating from these two revenue streams, that is catering and conference facilities. So we were not sure whether during that year they were operational.
So that what is this 6.6 million that was disclosed?
This is from agricultural products and dairy products.
Yes.
From agricultural and
dairy products.
Now, Governor, despite all these answers that are sounding clever, are you concerned about the management of this facility? Because if it has all this potential, you can imagine having a hotel with 25 bed capacity, with 50 conference facility, and you would expect to make money, even if this was a small private business. What is, from what I'm hearing from the Auditor General, is that these services were offered, money was collected, it was never reported. And it looks like small money. Wizi wa pesa kidogo kidogo.
I think
even before the governor goes, yeah. These agricultural training centers are all over in Kenya. If you go to Lamu, they do training, but also there are hospitality facilities. If you go to Kitui, they do training, but there are these facilities. So when was it started, Kamweti Animal Training Center? Is it in 2023? Is it in 2010? Because I cannot think of a facility that was opened in 2010. They are doing training without giving catering. How would the training happen, really?
Let me explain, attempt to explain. It's not the training that you're thinking, like the training of this level. It is training when farmers come to be taught, for example, how to graft, how to milk. So it is not a high-end institute. And it's an old facility. It's not a new facility that was built recently. So we just put a board to help in the management, but that is where we teach farmers how to do fish farming. We have fish ponds. Then we teach them how to graft. If you're teaching them how to put fertilizer, we have a demo farm, how to take care of coffee. So it's not for external people to come and sleep. It's mostly for farmers to come and see demonstrations.
Let me ask the Governor. I think in your last statement, last paragraph, you are saying it is established as a fund.
It was established this year.
What does it mean?
It was established last year.
Because when you talk of fund, you must have a legislation, and there must be some regulations. And again, there should be some money revolving there. I don't know whether it's from the county or from the income that you are getting from the facility. Maybe you need to give us proper explanation on that.
So we did that last year and set up the board so that we can try and commercialize those services that we've been providing, the extension, agriculture-related extension services or training services. But prior to last year, there was no board and there was no fund. It was just a training.
What is the current
Please.
status?
Do you respond?
The institute has now been, through the various regulations by the county Department of Agriculture, which was adopted by the executive and passed on to the county assembly. It is now fully established as a Kamweti Agricultural Institute with a fund that is to ensure that the monies which are collected within that institution are safeguarded to improve the services within that institution.
So there's fund coming in now?
Yes, there's a fund coming in now, starting in this financial year, so that they can make more money and also they can be able to use the same money within the same institution.
As I said, all those are corrective measures.
Yes.
Auditor General, was money collected and not reported? That's what I'm interested in. That is what you are telling me here. They had not reported any revenue from various services. Is that a fact? Or that was speculation?
During the 2 years of audit, there were no revenue reported coming from the conference facilities. And
were the services utilized during that period? Can you confirm?
Normally we are not there throughout the year.
But by the time you're telling me no revenue was reported, then you should also be saying the services were offered but no revenue was reported.
Yes, during the month of October when we visited the facility, we found these services are being offered.
These services are being offered?
Yes.
Yeah, so then that means, Governor, because you have not addressed yourself to the actual issue raised by the auditor, you are telling us the things you are doing in future. setting up a fund, setting up a board, building efficiencies. But you see, these are the things that make people have a bad view of devolution, because you find someone running this ATC and everyone knows that he's collecting the money and pocketing. And then EACC in their matrix will say that 6 million is too little in the matrix. EACC will never go after them because there are people stealing 200, 300 million. But we have to restore hope to the people that if you're running a public facility, it is not private property for you to charge and then pocket. Now, this is what I want the Auditor General to come out very clearly, that services were offered, the revenue was not recognized, and therefore we declare those who are managing that facility thieves who should be investigated and prosecuted. I think that's the only conclusion.
And you see, Chair, when you look at the management response, the Governor should hear this. Madam Governor, you need to hear this.
Governor, there's a comment that requires your attention.
I see the CECM is doing here what she is supposed to have done in Kirinyaga. That's fine. So I'm saying, Chair, when you look at the management response, and let's be honest, Governor, that you have actually decided, or the person that responded, that is your CCM, decided to answer their own question. The issue that was raised by the auditor is not addressed in that response. In your response, you are telling us what now you have started doing and what you'll be doing going into the future. The issue raised by the auditor is what you did not do. Governor, would it be fair to just say that there is an admission on the part of the county government of Kirinyaga
not collecting and not limiting.
You know, one of the reasons why people get to answer questions wrongly is because they don't get the question. People are busy conversing and we are asking questions. So you're wondering whether we should first give you time to converse, then we ask questions, or we'll ask questions and then you can.
Okay, Senator, proceed through the chair. And Governor, we need your attention.
Through the chair. Is this response then an admission on the part of the county government of Kirinyaga that actually money was collected from this training center, which money was not disclosed at the time of the audit? Beyond the money that you're saying, the 6 million which you're saying it was from, lower level training. Is it the position of the county government of Kirinyaga that, as the Auditor General says, when they went there, the catering services, accommodation services were being offered, and that's what he said. It's just your word against his word. Yeah, you see, they were being offered. Yeah, there is no evidence that they were not being offered through the chair. So is it true that money was collected and put or not disclosed? Because that's a question. You have not responded to that question.
Chair, I think allow me to clarify what the question is. The question is on underutilization of the facility. They have not said that money was collected. They said there's a kitchen, there is beds, but it didn't say that the services were being offered. We've just said that we've just established a board to start running the
Governor,
facility.
order.
If you had listened to what the Auditor General said in additional information, is that when they came there in October, those facilities were being used. That's what he said.
Can the auditor confirm that they found people in a conference and people sleeping in that?
You see, Governor, in your response, you have talked of measures to correct. You have not provided that description that you are giving us now. There is nowhere in your response you have said during the period under review, those services were not offered. You have just said the facility has been accredited, the facility is now functional, the facility is now a fund, the facility now has a board of directors. And
It's also hosting meetings and workshops.
and is also hosting workshops and meetings. Honorable members, let's not belabor the point. Our recommendation would be for investigation and prosecution of the small thieves. The Bible talks of the small foxes that can destroy an entire vineyard, and it is the thieves of the 6 millions and the Kamwetis that can bring down an entire county. So we shall take the word of the Auditor General that these services were offered but not reported. We now go to the executive report. There are more weightier issues there, bigger than